What's good, everyone? This is Artist of Truth once again with another vlog entry. And of course, this is a continuation from another video that that I really and truly wanted to give people the opportunity to gain a sense of an update on what has transpired. So this video here is Policing the Police, part 2. My previous video that I posted was about a particular arrest that happened to, that took place. You know, I was arrested, just for questioning a, police officer that performed a traffic stop. So, just to kind of add on from the previous video, I'll just go ahead and wrap it up in a nutshell for you. I was kidnapped, not for actually committing a crime, because there wasn't a damaged party, for one. For two, there was no property which was damaged as well. But I was stopped for a headlight that was out, which once I got my vehicle out of impound, both headlights were fully operational. Window tint and tag light. Now, I've had this window tint on my vehicle for I don't know how many years, and I've never had an issue with my window tint. Even though I understand you have some officers, they're just being selective about certain traffic infractions or whatnot, but whatever. So headlight, window tint, tag light, possession of less than an ounce of marijuana, which technically that is a citation. That is not an arrestable offense. Disobedience, what was that code? 19-9. A code saying obedience to an officer or whatever. It was nothing obstructing, interfering with police investigation or none of that. But now I was arrested. I have the dash cam, the body cam from the traffic. What was that? The traffic incident. Oh gosh, that was good. But yeah, I have that video. I've posted the video up on my social media site just to give another former police officer a little insight into what exactly happened. But between the video previously, the part 1, up until now, I'm here to tell you, they have been avoiding me. I've even taken it upon, I've taken it upon myself to even go a little bit more in depth to finding out what other issues that this officer has been involved with. Surprisingly, this particular officer that goes by the name of Officer Talley, Talley. So this particular officer was actually involved in a suicide. This officer, an inmate, committed suicide on this officer's watch back in 2014. The city had to fork out $4.2 million for this man's death, because this particular officer, the same officer that stopped me and and arrested me, kidnapped me, not even for committing a crime, but he kidnapped me because I questioned him about what was the nature of the stop. And, I've heard a lot of people say, well, the officer doesn't have to answer any questions from you. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's funny, because last time I checked, I don't have to answer any of his questions neither. When the officer comes up and start asking a series of questions, you don't have to answer them. Simple. You can say, I do not consent. I don't answer questions. Simple as that. I don't answer questions. I don't consent to any searches of my property, me or my vehicle. I don't consent to it unless you have a warrant. You don't have a warrant? Oh, okay. I'm not answering any questions. You don't have to, but, it's crazy because I think about it and I just laugh, because I have submitted documentation requesting on affidavit information, requesting that he respond. And this officer has yet to respond. And that was like back in what? That was back in April. Yeah. April. Yeah. I've already went to court. They bind the whole case over to another county. When you know how to represent yourself, when you walk into a courtroom, what a lot of people don't realize is, when you go into a courtroom, you don't go into a courtroom to argue. Don't argue. Don't debate with them. Sometimes you just got to go in there and just, it's like, okay. It's like, hey, certain things you don't understand, just say you don't understand. See, with me in my case, I went into the court. I didn't plead. They were trying to get me to plead, and I just politely explained to them, I'm not here to plead. I'm here to expedite this case as quickly as possible. I'm not here to plead. The instrument, the debt validation instrument, has been submitted into court documents. And I'm just here to see that, as the beneficiary of the listed individual that you have as Philip such. Hey, guess what? We have to validate this debt. Boy, I tell you, when I tell you the judge immediately pushed me off to the solicitor, and the solicitor got pissed at me because he couldn't go any further. He couldn't go any further. He got pissed at me. That old white fart turned red as a beet, because I wasn't a fool. I wasn't a fool. He knew exactly what I was talking about. He knew that I wasn't there to argue. I wasn't there to argue. I was actually there to really, offset, discharge the debt. He didn't like that too much. He didn't like the fact that I was requesting for the bonds, which have my name attached to them. You know, when I brought up the bonds, I was like, well, isn't there a bond that is being brought up against me? Because you have to have a bond when you make a claim against somebody. He wasn't trying to hear none of that. He turned red as a beet, said he's binding the case over to state court. I said, okay, cool, no problem. Once again, I have yet to hear anything about that. And I'm still checking on it just to keep you all updated. But I can't stress it enough, how important it is to learn the loopholes, the ins and outs of the law. Because we all have rights, you know. Before we became United States citizens, we already had rights. We had human rights. And when you become a U.S. citizen and you claim yourself as a United States citizen, you have now forfeited a lot of your rights away for privileges that the government gives us. I understand it might be a little confusing for you all, but I can't stress it enough. If you're watching this video and you think that what I'm saying is a bunch of bullshit, I'll tell you something right now. Go back in your search bar on YouTube and type in the straw man. Just like that. THE, the straw, STRAWMAN, the straw man. And look into that. The straw man is the first step in opening your mind and getting you all to understand and realize that you are, even though you consider yourself and label and call yourself a U.S. citizen, you're about to be well informed that even though you're calling yourself a U.S. citizen, you're not free. Your real rights and privileges, you have signed away. You have signed the real rights and privileges away to your children. Your rights have been signed away because of your parents, because you don't know. You don't know. And that is the first step. But I will continue to keep you all posted. I just thought about it and felt that it was necessary to put that information out. It's very, very necessary. Very. The more you read, the more you know. You want the truth, you speak it into existence. Truth and wisdom will come to you. You just have to have an open mind for it. And continue to police the police. Continue to police the overseers. Hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. So on that note, your joy and happiness belongs solely unto you. Stop giving it away to undesirables. Love each other and protect each other. And exercise your rights. Because what's the purpose of having rights and you're not using them? They can easily take them away. So I'll talk with you all soon. One love.